Coming out of the holidays and the sixth season, I have a feeling that you might be struggling with this if you have, especially if you have little ones. My son was struggling with separation anxiety. I've recently witnessed several children really struggling with the anxiety of getting dropped off at school. I also had a great conversation with a parent this week who was also struggling. So I thought now would be a really good time to cover ways that you can help your child through it and eliminate the separation anxiety for good. Hello, my name is Melissa Dillon, and I am your host today on Have More Time. I'm so excited to get today's episode because I am here as your guide to support you and love on you with as much knowledge and information from myself as an early childhood educator or experts that can really help you too, to help you on your journey to building a life that you love that's full of joy for yourself and your family. So let's get into it. So I really appreciate you taking the time to spend with me today. If this is your first episode that you have heard on Have More Time, welcome. This is a great place for you, especially if you're a parent. I cover a lot of stuff that caters to little ones, but all of the information that I share can definitely help if you are seeking to build a life that you love once and for all, that is full of many, many, many moments of happiness and joy. That's my ultimate goal. So today I want to talk about separation anxiety. So first, I'm going to open this with an excerpt from an article that was written on parentsplace.org. Dr. Ellie Pelk is a clinical psychologist who specializes with children, and she's a regular guest contributor at Parents Place. And this is what she has to say about separation anxiety in children. From the first day of life, humans are social beings. Upon a separation from a caregiver, a baby rightfully senses danger, and their nervous system pumps hormones, cortisol, and adrenaline through the body to activate the flight or fight response. Separation anxiety at this age of development is not just common, but expected. Now that really resonates with me. Does that resonate with you? She said it is not just common, but it is expected. So for your child, once they get to a certain age where they get to go to school or they get to participate in after school programs, or you get to drop them off at the kids club at your local gym, whatever it is, you go out on a date night and you drop your child off with the nanny or the babysitter. These things are part of a child's life. It's part of everyday life, but it wasn't originally. So maybe your child is really struggling, or maybe they used to not struggle with this and they used to not have the meltdowns, but now suddenly it's happening. Have you ever been there yourself? So I really like to take you through just stepping back and stepping into your child's shoes about what they may be feeling right now when they go through these periods of falling apart, maybe having temper tantrums. They're really, really clingy when you drop them off. They're very upset. Maybe they are getting very aggressive, leading up to the drop off, with hitting or arguing with you, or just very emotional in general. If any of these things are happening to you, then this episode is definitely for you. You're in the right place, and I'm really hoping to help you today. So take yourself back to a time when you felt anxious or you felt afraid of a certain environment. You felt nervous walking into a room full of people. Maybe you felt terrified when you walked up onto the stage for a very first time for a school play or a big presentation, or maybe you can recall a period of time in your life when you were a child and you were dropped off and you too struggled with separation anxiety. Can you take yourself there? Do you remember what your body felt like? If you close your eyes, can you remember your palms sweating, your heart pounding, the terror maybe that took over your body, or you may have had shakes or uncontrollable feelings and you just didn't know what to do. Maybe you felt a cocktail of hormones running through your body and you didn't know what it was and didn't know what it meant, but all you knew is you just needed to get out of the situation like yesterday. So if this is something that you may feel, which I have a feeling maybe you have, especially if your child is struggling with this, then it's great news, because if you know, then you know the steps and you know where to take your mind anytime that this happens. Then you can get into their shoes and get back into their level get onto their level about how they're feeling so that you can help them through it. It's always a great place to start, is compassion and empathy for their situation. So I've already said some things that just from my personal experience with anxiety, that your child may be feeling or that you recall feeling. But Dr. Pelk went on to say that she can suggest these symptoms. So if you're not sure if your child is struggling with separation anxiety, here are some other ways that it may manifest: through headaches, stomach aches, and nausea that aren't medically understood and correlate with transitions and separations. If your child struggles to fall asleep alone or refuses to go to bed without you near. If they get teary, complain, or become tense with anticipating or experiencing a goodbye. Or maybe they ask to get picked up from school or choose to miss activities or leave sleepovers early because they prefer to be at home. If you answered yes to at least two of these things, then your child may be struggling with separation anxiety. So up next, I'll share 9 ways you can support your child through eliminating their separation anxiety for good. But before we get into it, here's a quick announcement. Hi there, it's Melissa here with a quick announcement. On our website, raisingkindness.org, we just launched a new feature of asking your question. So go over to raisingkindness.org today to record your question, and it could be answered on a future episode. Now, your question could be about anything. It could be about today's topic. It could be about a previous one on another episode. It could even be about anything that you're facing in your own life that's a challenge or a problem that you're looking for a solution on your journey, your mission to building a life that you love with your family. So, does that sound good? Go ahead and go over to raisingkindness.org today and ask your question of us right now. Oh, and now back to the show. Okay, so I have to ask for your forgiveness a little bit because I feel like my transition there was a little funny. Did it feel like I kind of just rushed into introducing that announcement? So if you notice anything, and if you're new to this episode or you've only listened to a few, you may not know, but none of our episodes are edited. They're all totally raw, and I produce them and edit them on the fly while I'm recording with you, just because I respect time so much. And this is a show about having more time for joy. And this is something that is part of my mission, is to serve you. But if I'm going to do it for you, I have to, make those sacrifices for it not to be so perfect sometimes. So just a little caveat to listening to episodes here at Have More Time. So anyway, let's get back on with the show. So I told you that I would share with you 9 ways that you can support your child toward eliminating their separation anxiety. So I want to share 9 do's, and then I'm going to share at the end of this, toward the end of the show, I'll share some things to try and avoid. Does that sound good? I hope so. So I'm really hoping that these help you today. So number 1 is, instead of saying something like, you have to go to school today, saying you have to go, then say, today you get to go to school. You get to go to work. You have the privilege of having a job as an adult. You get to go to work. I know sometimes it doesn't always feel that way, but changing the words that we choose to use can really help jumpstart our brain into thinking more positive thoughts. And what better way than to teach your child that actually works by sharing what a positive thought looks like. So they get to go to school. And you can take those conversations a little bit further about what they get to do when they get there. They get to learn, they get to play with their friends, they get to play on the playground. They get to play with all the cool games and toys that they don't have at home. They get to engage in different activities that you can't do at home. These are great positive experiences that your child's going to engage in. And it's a great opportunity. If they're having anxiety, it just means that they've locked on to some sort of fear. And we need to shift those thoughts into thinking about the positives. So that would really help. It's a great starter. Number 2 is to create a positive experience before school with a stress-free routine. So the way that you can do this, and I know it can be hard, especially if you have to go to work early and your child gets dropped off early, there's a lot, and you are a superstar, okay? So don't forget this. You are a superstar for all the things that you juggle, you and your spouse, or you and your partner, or you and your roommate, or maybe it's just you on your own. It's all good. You are a rock star for having a little one or having multiple kiddos at home and being able to juggle the morning. But I can tell you just from personal experience, because I used to stay up late and get up late and struggle, and I still do that sometimes. I'm not going to lie. I will tell you, there are some days that for sure we do still struggle. But more days than not, more and more, we are getting so much better at going to bed earlier and getting up earlier, and it has been a lifesaver, especially now that Bodhi's in the 5-day school time routine. So if you are on the similar schedule where your child is going to school every day, and even if you're not, keeping the same routine of going to bed at a reasonable hour, getting up earlier than you normally would, having that extra time can just set you personally on the right foot so that your child senses the calmness and the positive energy in the morning. And that's really what they need. They need to know, okay, mom and dad are okay, they're cool, so I'm good. I feel much better. And you guys can have those proactive, positive conversations about what they get to do at school and what you get to do at work. Things about, sharing about your day and your morning and what you have planned and the fun things, and keeping everything light and happy in the morning. That could really help too. Also, you can prepare some of the things that you need for the morning the night before. So setting out having your child pick out their clothes for school the night before, getting your own stuff ready the night before, having your mental checklist. Something that I do too that really helps speed things up in preparing us to get out the door is, instead of going, okay, I need my keys, I need my water, I need my phone, and I need my purse, and yada yada, going through the whole checklist, I'm going through a checklist of 1 through 9. So if I don't have the 9 things that are on my mental checklist, then I don't have it. And there's something about it where I'm labeling it as a number that seems to be a little bit more soothing and practical than trying to come up with the things that now it's just a habit. So that's just an idea to throw out there, some things that you can do. Another thing that you can do to lighten up your morning routine is to throw on some music, have the right lighting. That always helps too. I mean, it's science-backed, is that music and the proper lighting can really change your mood, and it can elevate it for the positive, especially if your child is dealing with separation anxiety. Number 3 is give your child a totem or a reminder that you love them and you think of them while they're at school. And also a little trinket or a totem. What I'm saying with a totem, it could be a stuffy, a blanket, some sort of little trinket that you two share together or that they enjoy having at home, that they can bring with them to remind them and connect them. A little piece of home, a little piece of you that they could bring with them to school so they don't feel like they're totally being abandoned, because those are the feelings they might be having at school as to why they're having the separation anxiety. Is they might feel that sense of disconnect with you and school and home, so they're feeling really uncomfortable. So by bringing something from home or from you to school will help them feel that sense of security. So something that I personally have started doing that Bodhi's in love with was actually inspired by another parent from another school, and I thought it was the most adorable thing. And it might work for you too. So it's not a totem or trinket that's a physical thing that he can hold. It's actually putting a heart on his wrist. So this mother at another school, she told me that she did that because her son was struggling with separation anxiety himself when he was little. And it became this sweet ritual with them where she draws the heart and they share loving conversation with each other and positive affirmations, or they have their own bond as she's drawing this heart on his wrist. And that really helped him to get past it. He was struggling also with nap time. So anytime he struggled with falling asleep, he would look at his little heart and he would fall right to sleep. It worked for Bodhi too. So that was the icing on the cake for us, is putting that heart on his wrist helped him officially get past the anxiety. And he asks for it and he feels really proud of it. It's so cute. So that's just a suggestion that you can do and come up with your own routine around that. Number 4 is remain calm and positive so that your child also feels secure. So this can extend from your morning routine. If you have a solid, calming morning routine, that could also include breakfast together too, by the way, then your child will start to feel more calm. And any conversations that you have around going to school, continuing to have positive conversations, redirecting their feelings from those feelings of fear and abandonment and whatever it is that's going through their mind. Have those calm and positive conversations about the things they can look forward to, and reassure them by just not disregarding their feelings at all. That's not what you would do, but instead going, I understand, sweetheart, that you feel this way, but we get to go to school and having really great conversations about it, and we're going to have so much fun. Oh, I can't wait till you get there. Ooh, you have the Valentine's Day party. So if you're listening to this at the time of publication, it's Valentine's Day when you're listening to this. Or the 100th party, the 100th day party is coming up, the 100th day of school. Your school may celebrate that. Connecting with your teacher about some of the events that are happening, so you do have some definitive things to share about, things that they genuinely have to look forward to. That'll really help. And it'll help brighten up your energy to keep you calm and positive so that they can just feed off of that until they're able to get past it on their own. Number 5 is consider enjoying a few minutes of their school experience with them by engaging in an activity before class begins. So if you can get to class a little early, and this is something that I do with Bodhi and some of the other parents I've noticed are doing this too, is they'll get to school early to engage either in playing with a certain activity or engaging in some practice work or something like that. So just connecting with them about their experience at school, or asking them if you don't have time to really engage in a game or an activity or a learning experience, then you can instead say, can you show me something that you love to play with when you're at school? Show me 2 things, or pick something and I can help you get set up. Something like that, so that you're helping them at the transition, and make that as part of your routine. And then, excuse me, I have a little bit of a cold. So I keep coughing in your ear, my apologies. And number 6, Dr. Pelk, this is back from the article that she had written. So Dr. Pelk says having conversations about what the transitions and separations your child can expect to experience through their day are. So by having those proactive conversations with them, their mind isn't going, what's going to happen? Where am I going? Or what's going to happen next? I don't even know. If you set the expectation in advance and even have them, converse with you about it in advance and express back to you what you just explained to them about the routine, then checking for understanding and talking about it. And hey, we have this to look forward to. We get to go grocery shopping afterward. We get to do that together. That's what we'll do after we pick you up. Whatever you can talk about with them so that they know exactly what to expect will help ease their tension about the separated experience. Number 7 is, she also says, devising a plan together to slowly guide your child through mastering planned separation can really help. So this is such a great suggestion, and it's suggested by so many experts, is to include your child in any experience. So include their child in any decisions that are to be made that involve them. Any activities, including them in those choices is a great way to help them come up with or learn problem-solving skills and how to think on their own, how to take initiative. So managing feelings is no different. If they're feeling a sense of separation anxiety, this is a way to solve it, is to sit down and calmly come up with a plan together. They can come up with their own totem, their own little trinket that they're going to bring. They can come up with their own things that they can think about that are positive experiences that they have to look forward to. They can come up with, okay, what kind of things do you want to do in the morning that would help you through this? And they can come up with their own ideas and then make it part of the routine. Commit to including what they suggested into the routine so that they feel like, oh, I'm a part of this. I had a say, and this is what I wanted to do. And it'll help redirect that anxiety to feeling a sense of calmness and knowing what to expect, knowing that they were heard, and knowing that they're going to be supported by you. Number 8 is to take time to connect. So reminding your child that this is a routine that all kids and adults experience as a part of growing up. Let them know it's okay to feel uncomfortable, and talk about ways that they can feel good about their day at school on their own. What can they engage in to enjoy the experience more? So maybe, this would be a great time to talk about what are some of the things that they are doing. Maybe they're doing things that are perpetuating the anxiety. Maybe they're sitting alone and you learn that they're not really engaging with friends. Talk to your child's teacher, and I was actually going to bring up that point next, is talk to your child's teacher about the experiences and get some feedback about what your child is doing when you leave the room so that you can help your child practically come up with alternative ways that they're going to engage in school to have a more positive experience or engage in the whatever drop-off site that you're struggling with. Number 9 is, go extending from the teachers is involve all other caregivers in coming together to support your child through this experience. So this is super important because you are not alone. Even though you are their parent, you're the ultimate caregiver. You are not the only one. So you have the teachers and grandmas and grandpas and aunts and uncles that may be around, and your babysitters and your nannies, coaches, anyone who's involved in your child's life. I recommend having a conversation with them during this period of time when their child is struggling with separation anxiety, and ask them, what do you think? Or what are your experiences with children that are in your group who are struggling with separation anxiety? What is it that you're doing to help children that are in your care through this process? And then you can kind of take the nuggets from each of them and come up with a game plan together. Open that dialogue. So even though these ideas are great ideas that I'm sharing with you, and they're things that are tried and true and proven from doctors and other parents and my own personal experience as an early childhood educator and a parent, they may have some additional things. And then you guys can have dialogue about what fits with your child. And then you can also just try different things. You don't have to do all of it. Some of it may not work for your child. Some of it may, and some of it may be, a mix of a little bit of everything. So it's just, you got to trial and error and see what works best, and then go from there about helping your child through this. So I hope that makes sense, and I hope that these tips are really helpful. Some things that you want to keep in mind that you may not want to do is, number 1, don't allow your negative emotions to take over. So what I mean by this is, sometimes in these periods where you feel helpless or you feel like, gosh, I don't know what to do, and my child is just melting down and I don't know where to go from here. Don't allow yourself to express these emotions in a negative way towards your child, whether it be anger or being upset with them or feeling anxious with them. I know that you may feel that way, and that is okay. But the power that we have as adults is where we have better control of our emotions, and we can manage our emotions a little bit better. And we can take the opportunity to set a great example to show your child that it's all in the mind and we can calm down. We have the power to choose to calm our emotions and stay positive. So hang in there. You're not alone. And any negative emotions that you have, I hope, are mitigated from some of these tips. Number 2 is, don't have negative conversations about this situation with other caregivers, whether it be your spouse or any of the other adults that are in your child's life, within earshot of your child, because having those conversations just alone can bring about the anxiety. So you want to make sure that if you are having these conversations, maybe if you don't have an opportunity to talk to your child's teacher, for example, without your child standing right there, maybe you can open the dialogue via email. Maybe you can invite them to a parent-teacher conference, an opportunity where you guys can talk when your child's not around, so that you can come up with a game plan together. Another thing is, maybe when you're at home and you're with your significant other, then try not to have those conversations in front of your child or within earshot of your child, because anything that you may say, even though it's not intended to be negative, may feel overwhelming or anxious to your child. So just being mindful of that will really help your child, as long as you're mindfully presenting positive suggestions and positive affirmations towards your child about this experience. Then it'll help to mitigate that anxiety. Number 3 is, don't linger in the classroom. So from the steps that I listed, you have your routines, you have your rituals, you have the things that you guys talked about proactively. By deviating from that plan and not leaving and lingering, is only going to make it harder. And you're going to hear that from a lot of other professionals too. They'll say the same thing, is it makes it harder for your child, not only because it's like, okay, oh good, if I cry, if I freak out, then they'll stay. Please stay. And then now it's just the anxiety is going to perpetuate because now they're afraid of when you're going to leave because they know that's going to happen or it's going to come. So just go through the routine and cut it short and then go ahead and go with a calm, sweet goodbye. Then that will really help. Just keep that in mind. Don't linger in the classroom. Number 4 is don't be afraid to seek professional help. So if you've tried everything, if all of these suggestions you've tried don't work, if in getting support from other caregivers and implementing some of their ideas and suggestions and working together as a team, that's not working. If you've exhausted everything and you genuinely feel like, okay, I'm doing everything I can, I don't know what to do, you are not alone. You can seek professional help. So I will put a link in the show notes to parentsplace.org where they actually are a band of therapists who may be able to help you. You can actually even go, if you're a member of the Y, they actually have counseling too. So you can inquire at their office. I'll put a link in the show notes for that as well. And there are a number of people out there who specialize in helping children. And separation anxiety is so common that they'll be able to guide you and your child and support you in ways that you can help your child cope with this. So I hope that this helps, knowing that you're not alone. I'm here to support you. And again, go to raisingkindness.org if you feel like I've missed anything and you have any more questions, because I will make sure that I answer them in our very first Q&A next week. So thank you so much for spending this time with me. I hope that this was helpful, and I look forward to talking with you next time.